Hey everyone, Paulie here from HardDrive Radio, and I am delighted to be joined in the studio today by one of my favorite human beings, and that is Winston McCall of Parkway Drive. It's good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good to be back. I'm doing good. How you doing? Looking great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm very, very excited to see you. It's always good to see you. I mean, I think the last time was when you guys rolled through New York. You were on tour with Killswitch Engage.
Yeah.
And I actually saw two of those shows. I saw the New York show and the Philly show because
I saw you watching.
I saw
you watching.
It was incredible, man. But you're back today, and you're here to talk about some new exciting stuff that's coming up for the band.
Yeah,
and I think
we've been busy.
Yes, yes, you have. And if people haven't known this yet, it's been announced very recently that you guys are coming out with another film.
Yeah.
So very, very exciting. Tell us about it. It's called Viva The Underdogs.
Yeah.
And when did you guys start the work on this one?
Oh man, it's been something that's hard to kind of keep down because we've got like this being the third film installation for us. Every time we do anything, and in the AG Instagram, you put something up, and people are like, "When are you filming something again?
Yeah.
You should release this." And I'm like, "Oh my god, no! When we do it, it's going to be done properly." So we don't ever not film. But we do want to put it together in the context of what is going on as the band, rather than just like, here's a bunch of random things of us just doing junk. So we had a couple of guys from a company called The Dreamers who we'd worked with before who came to us and were like, we want to film you guys over the next year and see where that goes, because basically they found the band and the band's operation and how we work like within this music industry to be a really interesting concept. So they basically followed us for the last year, and we're like, okay, I don't know what the hell you're going to get. Might have to fake some drama in this because we're not the most, dramatic humans. We just gig and take care of business. Yeah, I know. But in that time, it's been a roller coaster. So yeah, basically after all of this, we wanted to make a unfiltered, modern, reality-based story which enlightens people as to what it is actually like being in Parkway or being in any kind of, I guess, rock band in this modern era, because there's a lot of music stuff coming out these days, and it's hitting big screens and stuff, and what you still get is that glorified rock star, rags to riches, implosion, like the story of complete excess.
You don't even need to see the film to know what the storyline
exactly is. That's it. Exactly. And the thing is, these days, like, there's a hell of a lot of bands doing a hell of a lot of work, and they're killing it. But at the same point in time, it's not the same thing that you'd expect. We still go home, and people have this perception of what it takes to actually be on the road, and that either things are completely handed to you, or if they haven't heard about you, you're doing nothing. And there's this reality of what it is like to be in a band that plays music that isn't necessarily like the viral sensation that's going to just go, bam, oh my God, you're the biggest person on the planet, or set fire and break the internet or something like that. But at the same point in time, what we do, and I think rock music being reasonably underrepresented in mainstream culture these days, is very alive and well, and is exciting as ever, and it just takes a hell of a lot of hard work to get it done.
and you guys are obviously putting in the work. You've been killing it since day one, and my first introduction to the band, I was completely blown away, and I've been a fan ever since. So I'm just glad that it's not just me who thinks you guys are amazing. Like, you guys have
thanks, me too. I'm really I'm stoked
for
that as well.
It makes your job easier.
Yeah.
Between as you mentioned, this is not your first film. You guys have two other DVDs that are out already. Thinking back to shooting that first one, it's pretty much just you guys and like a videographer following you around the world. Yeah. What changed in the process between shooting that one and then shooting this film?
That's like one of the big contrasts that we have, because we also stumbled across a bunch of old footage when we went to create this project, and it was really interesting seeing the change, and mainly the change because no one expected this, and we never had anything to aim for, very specifically because we were always told, like, you can't go anywhere with this kind of music. It was very, very obvious that there is no avenue forward beyond just playing a gig and hoping you get another gig. And throw in where we're from and like the change in the musical landscape and everything and the way media is consumed over that time. It's been a really interesting process to be in this band and be able to look back at that. And I think that's part of it as well. I think the way media has been consumed over these years has changed so much, and the way people look at music and interact with music and see the value in it as well has shifted so much that being there at a time when we had a demo tape. We couldn't afford to even have a demo CD when we first started, to now, and you literally can get any music on the planet for free. It changes the way you function and the way people write music and the way that they see you as an artist or anything like that. And we've kind of gone from small town people playing in a local youth centre to literally the biggest stages on the planet in that time. So it's I think being in this band gives people an interesting vehicle to see that change. So yeah, how have we grown? Hell of a lot.
Well, I mean, like I remember watching that first film, and you guys are, touring Europe in a rented van with, no schedule. You're just like, oh, see where we're sleeping on the ground at night, and now it's like you're headlining the biggest festivals in the world. It's just like, it's that story that everybody wants. And I think we were making fun of the films before, like, the rags to riches kind of story, but like, that is kind of your story too, coming from a little surf town in Australia, and now you guys.
Yeah, you know what it is. It just took 16 years to do it, rather than like that boom moment. So, but that's
the work.
That's the work. That is
the thing that people don't want to have to do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if people necessarily don't want to do it, because I do know a lot of bands like who work their ass off, and I'd love for that to also be what people would take away from it, is realizing that when they go and see these bands that are touring constantly, and they see a band from overseas, or they see a local band working their ass off, that it is work, and that you can't always. I think people these days very much rely on, like, we have an entire culture relying on the next 30 seconds of Insta fame to all of a sudden blow you up, and that'll be your career. And when you make a music that isn't necessarily as in vogue now as it people want to think it's going to be, and that you can't like count on it all of a sudden being a mainstream darling or anything like that. You got to work, you got to grind, and you've got to put your passion and your heart into something. And we've always loved doing it. And the thing for us, I guess, is when you didn't necessarily have anything to aim for, you just kind of, the thing for us was step on that stage like it's going to be your last time on stage. And we still do that to this day. Like, that's the thing that keeps us going. And it's expanded to such a massive degree, and our passion has grown with it, because you get given a bigger stage and more time, and you go, okay, well, we could do the same thing we've done, but we've got a bigger palette and we've got a bigger canvas to work on that stage. Like, what can we create? And that's where it's kind of just evolved and evolved and evolved, because at any point in time we could have just gone, nah, not interested anymore, just get up and wing it and phone it in, but it's not us.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask, like, was there ever a point where, the stage was too big for you? Like, the stage was too much and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Why are we here?
Yeah, it's never reached like, why are we here?
Yeah.
But there's been times when, like, we've gone further than we expected, and all of a sudden you're playing a slot in a festival, and you rock up with your gear and you're like, oh my God, we look like ants on this thing. Can the people at the back even see us? And those were the times when we reassessed what we could actually do, because there's been so many instances where we reached what we thought was the ceiling for this band, the glass ceiling. And there's been so many instances where we looked at a stage and went, oh my God, we shouldn't be here. Let's just play this show and remember this moment, because it's never going to get any bigger or never going to get any crazier. And it took a few of those moments before we were like, we keep kind of climbing up that bill, and more people keep coming, and the shows keep getting better, and this works. So if this is going to keep going, why don't we actually start aiming for something? And we still love doing what we're doing. How can we take that love of what we do and expand it on that stage so it doesn't feel like we don't belong? And it's not that we didn't care about it in the first place. It's just we thought this opportunity is never coming around again, so don't bank on it. Don't like invest anything in it. And there was very specifically some times and festivals where we were like, there is no reason we shouldn't be aiming for something. Like, we're just shortchanging ourselves, and why not go for broke? We've done it on everything else. Every time we go on a tour, it's a gamble. It's like, this is your life. In a band, you wait for that moment when it all stops and you go back home and you have no qualifications and you're 35 and you've like have no education. So we were just like, no, you know what? We care about this. Let's put the effort into every aspect of what we have, and let's run this thing in the proper way. So
when you guys are looking for your next, big moment on stage, and you're trying to make something bigger and better than it was before, are you just sitting around as a band throwing out ideas? Maybe this would be like, there's you guys did a run in Europe, and Ben is strapped into this like drum kit that's spinning around and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who's coming up with that? Who says this is going to be a great idea?
Here's a great idea. This won't kill us. The whole thing with everything we do is the band runs this band. Yeah. There's no strings behind the scene. There's no set designer like telling us this is what your new show is going to be. Give me $1 million, I'll make you a show. Just rock up on stage. Like, we're a self-managed band. Mm-hmm. Like, we're on Epitaph, biggest independent label in the world. They just will help us with anything we want to do. We're not getting told to do anything. We're not getting corporate money coming in, and we have to take care of everything ourselves. So when we did take this step up, it was like, right, who's doing what? So for the stage stuff, it's myself, our guitarist and manager Luke, our lighting guy, and our stage tech, who, like, our stage manager, who started as our guitar tech and has now become fully qualified pyro guy and runs all of that stuff. And we literally sit in hotel rooms and we draw and we write notes to each other, and we, like, in between shows, which a show generally lasts worldwide for one cycle, we write down all of our ideas and take all of our inspiration and see what we want to create that will highlight the music in whatever way we want, and we try and piece together a show that way. Like, it's not the kind of thing we're long past just going, give me a button that makes things blow up all the time. We definitely want to create an experience that highlights the music and highlights the moment, because I think when you put music in a live environment, it is very different from when you just press play and you put your headphones on, because all of a sudden you got all those different senses hitting you. And why not? Like, it's so, the best shows I've seen are the ones where something happened that I didn't expect, or it sounded heavier because at the same point in time I was dodging fire and all of those kind of things. So we like working in that realm. It's a really fun thing to do.